The twin suns of Valaris cast soft golden light over the city of crystal spires. From space, the Zalari homeworld looked like a jewel, perfect and peaceful. But inside the highest tower of the imperial palace, something was dying. Princess Veljara, heir to the throne of the Zalari Empire, lay motionless on a floating bed of silver light. Her long white robes looked like snow against her deep blue skin. Her silver eyes, once sharp and full of power, were dull now. She had been sick for years and no one could save her. Zalari doctors, some of the most advanced in the galaxy, had tried everything. Nanobot treatments, quantum blood filters, neural echo therapy. Nothing worked. Her illness was not known in their medical records. It attacked her nervous system, causing weakness, pain, and slow organ failure. No cure, no relief, only slow, quiet death. At first, the Empire had hidden her illness, but now, whispers filled the palace halls. The nobles were nervous, the throne was almost empty, and everyone wanted a piece of it. Without Veljara, the Empire would break into war. Still, she remained calm. Not because she was strong, but because she had given up. "I'm ready," she whispered one evening to her closest advisor, High Physician Kael'th. "Let it end." Kael'th's hands shook. "My princess, forgive me." He turned and walked down the hall. That night, against all law and pride, he did something no Zalari had ever done. He called a human. On Earth, Dr. Elias Rourke sat alone in his small clinic, just outside New Houston. The walls were clean but plain. He was reading a medical report on his tablet when his holo console beeped. It flashed a signal that he'd never seen before. Zalari transmission, priority 1. He raised an eyebrow. Must be a mistake. But he tapped it. A projection appeared, a hologram of High Physician Kael'th. The alien's thin face looked desperate. "We need help. Our princess is dying. You are our last hope." Rourke almost laughed. "Me? I'm just a trauma doc. You've got half the galaxy's medicine." Kael'th's voice cracked. "We tried everything. Our pride has killed her once already. Don't let it finish the job." Rourke looked at the image of Veljara attached to the message. Even sick and fragile, her presence was powerful. He could see sadness in her eyes, but also a strange strength. He made his decision in seconds. "When do I leave?" The journey to Valaris took 3 days through a military worm gate. When Rourke arrived, the reception was cold. Zalari guards eyed him with disgust. Their robes shimmered, their posture perfect. Compared to them, Rourke looked like a mess. Wrinkled lab coat, rough beard, and tired eyes. An aide led him into the palace. Everything sparkled, walls of living crystal, floating orbs of soft light, alien music in the background. But Rourke only cared about one thing: the patient. Inside the healing chamber, Veljara lay as before, motionless. Only the soft glow of her breathing monitor showed she was alive. Kael'th spoke quietly. "No one believes you can help. If you fail, you'll be blamed." "I'm used to that," Rourke replied. He walked up to the princess. For a long moment, he just looked at her. Then, to everyone's shock, he spoke like she was already awake. "Princess, I don't care what title you hold. Right now, you're my patient and I don't lose patience." Her eyes opened slowly. "You will this time," she whispered. Rourke smiled. "We'll see." Over the next few days, Rourke examined everything. He asked strange questions. He checked her muscle reflexes with a tool that beeped and clicked. He ran old-fashioned blood tests, which the Zalari considered primitive. But he saw something others had missed. "She feels pain when touched here," he said to Kael'th, pressing. "A spot on her neck. That means her nerves aren't dead. They're just blocked." "Blocked by what?" Kael'th asked. "That's what I need to find out." Rourke stayed up all night reviewing Zalari medical archives and comparing them to human neurology. He drank coffee, something the palace kitchen didn't even understand. When he realized their records were missing important brain scans, he got angry. "You scanned every molecule of her blood, but you never did a full cerebral map?" Kael'th was defensive. It was considered unnecessary. Our healing methods are too proud to admit you missed something, Rourke cut in. He built a human-style brain scanner using his emergency gear and Palace tech. It took 3 hours to power up. When he finally ran the scan on Veljara, he found something shocking. Deep inside her brainstem was a faint signal, an echo, like a code running on repeat. Rourke leaned in. That's not natural. That's a program. Kael'th paled. Impossible. Rourke backed away from the scanner. Someone did this to her. He returned to Veljara's bedside. She was watching him now, more alert. You're not dying because of your body, he told her. You're dying because someone installed a weapon in your brain. Her eyes narrowed. You mean, it's not illness? It's something between a disease and a virus, but designed, probably ancient. You ever hear of the War of the Silencers? Veljara's breath caught. That war was thousands of years old, mostly lost to time. We thought it was myth, she said. Well, this myth left a mark, and it's killing you slowly. Veljara closed her eyes. For the first time in years, she felt something new. Anger. She opened them again. Then fix it. Rourke smirked. Now we're talking. That night he recorded a message to Earth Medical Command. Patient is alien royalty, suffering from implanted neuroprogram likely tied to ancient war tech. She's still fighting, so I'm not stopping either. I'll need clearance to run Class 9, neural interface therapies, and maybe a miracle. He leaned back in his chair, eyes heavy. He didn't know if he could save her. But he knew one thing. Humanity never gave up, and neither would he. The Zalari Palace was silent when Dr. Elias Rourke walked through the halls the next morning. His boots echoed on the crystal floor. The guards looked at him without speaking. No one trusted the human doctor, but they couldn't stop him now. He was the princess's last chance. Rourke entered the healing chamber and found Princess Veljara sitting up for the first time. Her back was straight, though she still looked weak. Her silver eyes watched him carefully. You should rest, Rourke said. I've done enough resting, she replied, her voice soft but clear. Tell me what you found. Rourke pulled out a small screen and showed her the scan of her brain. This is your problem, he said. It's not a sickness. It's a program, like a machine code. Something inside your brain is sending false signals to your nerves. That's why your body is shutting down. Veljara frowned. Who would do such a thing? I think it was done long ago, Rourke said. This tech is old, maybe thousands of years. You might have inherited it, passed, down from your bloodline. You mean I was born with it? She asked. Maybe, Rourke nodded. Or maybe it was sleeping inside you, waiting to activate. Veljara looked away. So many doctors came. None of them saw this. Why you? Rourke shrugged. Because I'm not from here. I don't follow your rules. I just want to fix the problem. Rourke spent the next 2 days building a custom neural interface. It was a mix of human nanotech and some of the Zalari's forbidden technology, machines hidden away after the War of the Silencers. Kael'th warned him, this tech is dangerous. It can't be controlled. I don't need to control it, Rourke said. I just need it to work for 5 minutes. The neural interface looked like a silver crown. It had thin wires that could connect directly to the brain. If it worked, it would interrupt the false signals and reset Veljara's nervous system. But if it failed, she could die instantly, Kael'th said. Rourke looked tired but calm. She's already dying. Before the first test, Rourke sat beside Veljara. I need your permission, he said. Do it, she replied. Are you sure? You could. I said do it, she repeated. I'd rather die fighting than fade away. Rourke smiled. You sound like a human, she smirked. Don't insult me. The first test began with low power. Veljara winced as the wires touched her temples. Rourke activated the device. A faint hum filled the room, her body jolted, her hands shook, and then, she screamed, Cut power, Kael'th shouted. No, wait, Rourke said. He watched the screen. The brain signal was changing. The code was trying to fight back, but the interface was breaking it down slowly. Then Velgera collapsed. The room went silent. Rourke checked her pulse. It was steady. She was breathing. He looked at Kael'th. That's progress. Hours later, Velgera opened her eyes. She blinked slowly, then moved her fingers. I can feel my hands, she whispered. Rourke grinned. That's the first time in months, isn't it? She nodded, her eyes wide. I told you, this isn't magic, it's medicine. Real, simple, human medicine. Velgera looked at him with a strange expression. You risked my life. You asked me to. You still shouldn't have. Rourke raised an eyebrow. Do you regret it? No, she said. But don't ever do it without warning. Me again. He laughed. Now that sounds like a princess. Word of her improvement spread fast. The nobles whispered in the halls. Some were hopeful, others were afraid. If the princess lives, one said, our plans are ruined. Another nodded. We must act before it's too late. Rourke didn't know it yet, but enemies were watching him. Late at night, Velgera asked Rourke a question. Why did you come here, really? I told you, he said, to help. But why you? There are better doctors on Earth? Rourke hesitated, then he looked down. I failed someone once, a girl, back on Mars. I couldn't save her. I lost her on the table. She was young, so full of life. And I froze. I hesitated for just 10 seconds. And she was gone. Velgera watched him carefully. I never hesitated again, he said quietly. The next day, Rourke began the second phase of treatment. This time he boosted the power of the interface. The false signals were weaker now, but not gone. Another session like this, he said, and we might reset your entire neural system. Velgera nodded. I trust you. As he placed the crown on her head again, she whispered, What happens if I survive this? You live, Rourke said. You lead your people, and you tell the truth about what was done to you. She took a deep breath. Then let's begin. As the machine powered up, the signal in her brain changed again. Rourke leaned over the console. It's adapting, trying to hide. It knows we're killing it. Then kill it faster, Velgera said through gritted teeth. But suddenly the console flickered. Alarms beeped. The machine overloaded. Shut it down, Kael'th yelled. Someone's interfering, Rourke shouted. The code, it's not alone. Someone is controlling it. Velgera's body shook. Her skin turned pale. Her heartbeat dropped. Come on, Rourke growled. Stay with me. He pulled wires, rerouted power, and slammed the restart button. The machine sparked, and then everything went still. Velgera gasped. She opened her eyes and looked at Rourke. I'm still here. He sat back and let out a long breath. You scared the hell out of me. That night, Rourke checked the device logs. There was a signal spike just before the failure, not from inside her brain, but from somewhere else in the palace. Someone had tried to stop the treatment. Someone didn't want her cured. Rourke saved the data and locked it in his private files. He looked out the window at the shining city of Velaris. She's getting better, he whispered. And now I know why they want her gone. The sun rose over Velaris, shining through the crystal towers of the palace. But inside the high walls, shadows were growing. Dr. Elias Rourke knew someone was working against him. The second treatment nearly killed Velgera, and it wasn't just a medical risk. Someone had sent a signal to disrupt the procedure. Someone inside the palace. He didn't have proof yet, but he had a feeling. He looked at Velgera, now sitting upright on her own. Her skin had more color. Her hands, no longer trembled. She could speak with strength again. You look better every day, Rourke said with a small smile. She nodded. I feel alive again. Then she frowned. But I heard what happened during the treatment, that it almost failed. Rourke didn't lie. It wasn't an accident. Someone interfered. I found a signal. It came from inside the palace. Someone doesn't want you cured. Velgera's eyes narrowed. Then we must find out who. Rourke needed help. He didn't know the politics of the Zilari court, but he knew how to follow evidence. So he went to the only person he trusted, Kael'th, the royal physician. Kael'th listened carefully as Rourke showed him the data logs. "This signal is old," Kael'th said, "encrypted with imperial codes. Only someone with royal clearance could have sent it." Rourke crossed his arms. "Then that means someone close to the throne. Maybe even a council member." Kael'th looked uneasy. "If you accuse the wrong person, they will have you executed. Then I won't accuse anyone. Until—" "I'm sure," Kael'th nodded slowly. "There is a hidden archive, deep beneath the palace. It holds the Empire's oldest medical records, including banned information." "Banned?" Rourke asked. "Knowledge from the War of the Silencers," Kael'th said. "Records that speak of things we were told to forget. Forbidden tech, lost diseases, ancient weapons." Rourke's eyes lit up. "That's where I'll find what infected her." Kael'th hesitated. "If the High Council learns you went there, they'll have to catch me first," Rourke said. Late that night, Kael'th led Rourke down into the deep levels of the palace. Past empty halls and locked doors, they reached a vault guarded by 2 massive sentries. Kael'th whispered a royal command. The doors opened. Inside, the walls were lined with glowing scrolls, crystals, and floating data cubes. The air felt heavy, like it held secrets that hadn't been touched in centuries. Rourke worked quickly. He searched for anything connected to neural damage, bioprogramming, and the War of the Silencers. After 2 hours, he found it, a record from 2,000 years ago, a disease known as the Whisper. It was not natural. It was a weapon, made by an extinct race called the Droyan. It did not kill directly. Instead, it planted a program into the brain that slowly broke down the body over years. Only one Zilari bloodline was known to carry a dormant version of it, Vel'Jara's bloodline. Rourke's hands trembled. "This isn't a disease," he whispered. "It's a message, a curse, sent to destroy the royal family from within." Rourke returned to Vel'Jara at once. She was in her garden chamber, breathing fresh air for the first time in months. Birds flew above. A soft breeze moved through the glass walls. He told her everything. "It's not just a program," he said. "It's a weapon, and your ancestors hid it instead of destroying it." Vel'Jara's face grew pale. "They were ashamed," she said. "If the people knew our bloodline carried a Drojan weapon, they covered it up," Rourke finished. "And they passed it on. To you." She looked at the sky. "Then I am not sick. I am infected. I am a living target." "You were," Rourke said. "But we can stop it now. With one more treatment, I can wipe it out." Vel'Jara met his eyes. "Then let's do it." But the palace had eyes and ears. That night, the council met in secret. Old voices filled the dark chamber. "The human has gone too far. He knows the truth. If the people learn we hid this weapon and the Empire will fall, he must be removed. And the princess, she must die. The cure cannot reach her." Rourke woke in the middle of the night to alarms. Boom, and explosion rocked the West Tower. Guards ran down the halls. Kael'th burst into Rourke's room. "They've come for her." Rourke grabbed his bag and ran. He reached Vel'Jara's chamber to find it in chaos. Smoke, cracked walls, broken crystal. Guards were fighting in the halls, some loyal to the princess, others working for the council. "Jara!" Rourke shouted. She coughed, stepping out of the smoke. "I'm here." He ran to her side and pulled her behind cover. "They want you dead," he said. "We have to leave. Now." She nodded. "I know a way out." Vel'Jara led him through secret passages, through dark tunnels beneath the palace. They reached a small ship hidden under a garden dome. "This was built for escape," she said, "for a time when everything failed." Rourke helped her into the pilot seat. He took the controls. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Somewhere safe," Rourke said. "Somewhere we can finish this." As the ship rose into the sky, they watched the palace grow small behind them. Vel'Jara placed a hand on the window. For the first time, she whispered, I don't feel afraid. Rourke smiled. That's the human way. They landed on a small moon, far from Zilari space. It had a quiet station with old tech, perfect for what Rourke needed. He set up his equipment. The neural interface was damaged, but he repaired it with spare parts. We'll do the final treatment here, he said. Veljara lay back. No mistakes. No mistakes, he promised. As he prepared the device, he looked at her one last time. You ready? She nodded. Yes. Let's end this. The old medical station on the moon was quiet. No guards, no nobles, no threats, at least not yet. Inside the dusty lab, human tools and alien tech were spread across the table. Wires, nanoprobes, a half-repaired neural interface device. The only sound was the hum of the life support systems and the slow breathing of Princess Veljara. Dr. Elias Rourke stood by her side, holding the silver crown that had already brought her halfway back to life. This is the last treatment, he said gently. Veljara looked up at him, calm and strong. And if it fails? Then we try again, he replied. Or I die trying, she smiled faintly. You humans love your dramatic speeches, only when someone's listening, Rourke smirked. Then he placed the crown on her head. The final session had to be precise. No mistakes. Rourke carefully activated the neural device. Light flickered around Veljara's temples. The nanobots entered her bloodstream, racing toward the infected brain regions. Her body trembled slightly, but she didn't cry out this time. On the screen, Rourke watched the parasite code, the ancient Drojan weapon, flaring up one last time. It was trying to survive, to rewrite itself, to hide. But Rourke had prepared a countercode, written in human logic. Brutal, fast, and direct. The kind of code that didn't ask permission. Engaging full sweep, he muttered. Lines of alien language burst across the screen. Then, line by line, they vanished. Deleted. Destroyed. Veljara gasped as her fingers twitched. Then her toes. Then her arms. For the first time in years, she could move everything. It's working, she whispered. But just then, something strange happened. The computer beeped. A second signal appeared. Not from inside her body, but from outside the lab. Rourke froze. No. Not again. Outside the moon base, a sleek Zilari warship uncloaked in orbit. Inside it, Counselor Valtor, a tall figure in red armor, stood in front of a glowing map. Target is inside the lab. Proceed with orbital strike. One of the guards looked hesitant. But the princess is on board. What if she survives? Valtor smiled coldly. Then we aim again. No air, no truth. The ship powered its weapons. Rourke saw the signal rising. Someone found us, he said. Veljara opened her eyes. They're going to kill us. No, Rourke replied. Not today. He activated the station's shield, but it was old, damaged, and only bought them minutes. We don't have time to escape, he said. But we can send the truth. He rushed to the lab console and pulled out the data core containing everything. Medical scans, treatment files, the history of the Drojan weapon, proof of the royal bloodline's infection, and council interference. He handed it to Veljara. You have to broadcast this to the galaxy. Once they know, they can't hide it anymore. She clutched the data core. But what about the treatment? Rourke looked at the monitor. It's done. She blinked. What? He smiled. You're healed. A tear rolled down her cheek. Then let's make it matter. Outside, the warship fired a pulse. The lab shook. The roof cracked. Panels exploded. Sparks flew everywhere. Rourke! Veljara screamed. He grabbed her arm and led her to the old signal tower at the edge of the moon base. The console was ancient but functional. Input the data, he said. She slid the core into the slot and began the transmission. Signal boosting, she whispered. It's sending. The screen flashed green. The truth, the whole truth, was being broadcast on open galactic channels, to Zilari citizens, to outer colonies, to humans, to everyone. On the warship, alarms rang. Princess Veljara is alive, a technician shouted. She's sending a truth signal, empire-wide. Valtor slammed his fist on the console. Destroy the tower. But it was too late. The signal was out. Billions had seen it. Inside the moon base, fire spread through the walls. Smoke filled the tower. Veljara coughed, leaning against the console. We did it, she said weakly. Rourke helped her stand. Now we just need to stay alive. They ran through the burning hallways. Behind them, the tower collapsed in flames. They reached the hangar where their small ship sat, damaged but flight-ready. Rourke opened the hatch. Get in. Veljara paused. You first. He raised an eyebrow. Princess, I'm the one who gets the dramatic death scene. She pushed him inside. Not today. Not. As they blasted off the surface, the warship fired again but missed. Veljara turned to Rourke, who was piloting the ship through debris and fire. What now? She asked. He checked the sensors. Now, we run. Where? To the Zalari, capital. You're healed. You're the rightful heir. And now the people know the truth. Veljara stared at the stars ahead. For the first time, she said, I feel like I have a future. And for the first time, Rourke added, the galaxy might listen. Across the stars, the signal reached worlds near and far. On Zalari Prime, thousands gathered to watch the broadcast on giant tower screens. They saw images of the princess fighting to survive. They heard her voice. They saw proof of the Drojan curse, and they saw the council's plan to erase her. Outrage spread. People marched. Soldiers turned. Generals refused orders. The council's power began to crumble. In a hidden chamber deep under the palace, Councillor Valtor smashed a control screen. She should have died. But another councillor stepped back. The people have chosen. She is the future, another whispered. She is the flame we tried to put out, the third added. Valtor clenched his jaw, then let them burn. Veljara's ship entered orbit over the capital world. Zalari fleets rose to meet her, but did not fire. Instead, they opened a path. She is alive, one captain said. She carries the truth, said another. Veljara stood at the front of the ship wearing her royal armor. Strong, steady. Beside her, Rourke held her hand. You're ready? He asked. She smiled. No, but I'll do it anyway. That's the human way. The royal capital of Zalari Prime had not seen a crowd this large in 100 years. Thousands of Zalari citizens gathered in the crystal square. Above them, bright screens showed the face of Princess Veljara, alive, strong, and no longer dying. Whispers turned to cheers. The message she had sent from the moon had changed everything. Now she had returned. And the people were ready to listen. The royal palace gates opened slowly. Soldiers in gold armor lined the path. But their weapons were lowered. These were not enemies. These were protectors. The royal ship landed in the center of the square. Dr. Elias Rourke stepped out first. He looked up at the sky, half expecting a sniper beam to end his life. But none came. Then Veljara walked out. She wore a cloak of deep blue and silver, the colors of the royal family. Her eyes scanned the crowd. There was silence for a moment, complete stillness, and then the city roared. Long live the flame. She lives! The truth has returned. Rourke stepped back as Veljara raised her hand. The people quieted. My people, she began, her voice calm but strong. I was born into sickness. I was told I would die before my time. I was told to remain silent, to let the empire run its course, but that was a lie. She turned, gesturing to Rourke. This doctor saw what no one else dared to see. He looked into the darkness and gave me light. He gave me life. Rourke blinked, trying not to smile too widely. Veljara continued. The council kept secrets. They allowed our ancestors, shame to poison our future. But no more lies, no more fear. The crowd erupted again. Some cried. Others dropped to their knees. Hope was a powerful thing, but not everyone was pleased. Inside the great palace, Counselor Valtor stood, before the throne, alone. He had locked the chambers. He had armed the palace defenses. And in his hands he held the last override key, the one that could still erase everything. She will not take the throne, he said to himself. She is weak. She is human-tainted. He activated the terminal. If I burn, the crown burns with me. Rourke and Veljara entered the palace slowly, surrounded by loyal guards. But as they passed the throne chamber doors, the alarm sounded. Boom. The ceiling trembled. It's Valtor, Veljara said. He's activating the Scorch Protocol. The what? Rourke asked. A last resort system. If the council fears a revolt, they can destroy the entire palace from within. And no one thought that was a bad idea? Veljara didn't answer. She ran. They reached the throne room, huge, glowing with blue light. At the far end, Valtor stood by the control panel, his hand over the final button. You should have stayed dead, he spat. You should have stayed silent, Veljara answered. Rourke stepped forward. We have the people. We have the truth. If you kill us now, you become a villain in every mind across the galaxy. Valtor laughed bitterly. You think I care how I'm remembered? The Empire was built on blood. It will end with it. He pressed the button, but nothing happened. Veljara smiled. I disabled that system yesterday before we landed. Valtor's face froze. What? I knew you would try this, she said calmly. I learned from humans. I planned ahead. The guards moved in and surrounded Valtor. You are under arrest, one said. Valtor struggled. You fools. Without fear, you are nothing. Veljara stepped closer. We are not without fear. We are stronger than fear. 3 hours later, Veljara stood at the center of the throne chamber, this time alone. She looked down at the ancient crown, the crown of stars. Made from rare stardust metal, it had passed through the heads of tyrants, kings, and peacekeepers. A priest approached. Are you ready, High Flame? Veljara took a breath. Yes. The crown was lowered onto her head. Now name you Veljara the First, Flame of the People, Healer of the Broken Line. The crowd inside the palace cheered. Outside, fireworks lit up the night. Later, on the private sky balcony, Veljara sat with Rourke. Below, the city glowed in soft golden light. Music played in the distance. Soldiers laughed. Children ran. In the streets, peace for once felt real. You know, she said, I still feel strange. Rourke looked at her. Strange how? Strange that I'm not dying, that I can breathe. Walk. Think clearly. That the war is over. At least, for now, he nodded. Strange is good. It means something changed. They sat quietly for a moment. Veljara looked up. What will you do now? Rourke smiled. Go home, maybe. I've got a brother on Mars who owes me lunch. You could stay. Rourke blinked. What? She smiled. We need someone who knows how to fix more than bodies. We need someone who fixes hearts, minds, systems. You want me to become… what? A royal doctor? No, she said. A royal advisor, a voice of humanity in the new empire. Rourke leaned back. Well, that sounds like a nightmare. Politics. Fancy. Clothes, no explosions. But also no dying patients, she said. And plenty of adventure. Trust me, being queen isn't boring. He chuckled. All right, one condition. Name it. You make sure I get my lunch from Mars first. Weeks passed, then months. Veljara began reforms. She disbanded the old council, formed a new one. Half Zalari, half alien representatives. Humans. Dronari. Orlans. She made alliances where there had once been only war. The Drojan weapon was studied, then sealed away forever. Truth replaced silence. And Dr. Elias Rourke, he stayed. Not because he loved politics, not because he loved crowns, but because he had found something far more powerful than technology, or science, or royal blood. He had found someone worth protecting. On the edge of the galaxy, A small child once asked their teacher, "Is it true the queen was saved by a human?" The teacher smiled. "Yes, a single man, a doctor." "And he healed her?" "Yes." "And then?" The teacher paused. "He stayed." "Why?" The teacher looked out the window at the stars. "Because sometimes saving a life doesn't end a story, it begins one."